After round about 66 games, I've unlocked the Windhund with all missions finished, and today I'm going to give you tips on how to do the Vanguard missions. You will learn what tanks are recommended and which tank I personally did the mission in. But first, let's set some things straight. If you want to get the tanks of the new personal mission, you have to activate them like you do a battle pass. Keep that in mind, otherwise you will waste time. Also, for the Windhund's Vanguard missions, you can take tanks from tier 6 till tier 11. This might also help you pick a low tier tank where you feel more comfortable in. Vanguard missions want you to pick heavy, medium and tank destroyers from the breakthrough, versatile and assault combat role. I have a link to all the tanks in the description below, which leads to Tankopedia. So feel free to check out the tanks and maybe you find the perfect one for yourself. I am also inviting you to gladly post the tanks you did the missions in. I am aware you can get all the tanks without doing the missions through daily missions and weekly missions. But today we focus purely on the missions. So, with the administrative stuff out of the way, let's dive into the first missions. Because my name is RagingRaptor and let's jump in. As a little disclaimer, in these missions, in these Vanguard missions, we will have a lot of repetition. Why? Because most of these tanks, which are ideal to do them with or are recommended, they are recommended for most missions. So let's start off with mission 1, where you have to do damage to enemy heavy tanks 7 times by shooting them and do at least 1000 damage to them. Now, because you can do these missions from tier 6 onwards, you can also do something kind of funny. You could play the KV2 and just do HE Rambatzambo if you really am a howitzer enjoyer. I personally would not do that because of the very long reload times, so you might have issues to actually do 7 times damage to an enemy heavy tank. Ideal tanks definitely are something like the 260, the Centurion Action X, the E5, the new T803, the BZ, and I personally did it in the 5 because the 5 is in that regard very, very decent. Next up, you have to do a total damage cost and damage blocked by your armor needs to be equal or exceeding 2 times the hit points of your vehicles. So, of course, for that, a tank which has a lot of good armor is perfect. So something like the IS-7. Or you just take a tank which has really, really good DPM. So you can just compensate for the amount of HP you have. So for example, the E5 has round about 2500 hit points with a hardening, meaning that you would need to do a 5k game. I don't think that this is a game which a lot of you really think is easily done. So that is why I take something with a little bit of armor. aka IS-7, KR1, these are perfect for such missions. Now, next up in number 3, be the top player in your team by damage cost. I can't really tell you anything here, boys. Just have a good game. It's simple as is, you know. T60, Centurion Action X, E5, T803, IS-7. Personally, I did it in the 430U because I still needed some more XP to get the 432U, which I still didn't board yet, by the way. Number 4, our first ore mission. You need to do either 1000 HP of damage to immobilized enemy vehicles or block 2000 hit points of damage. Now, immobilized vehicles, there you want to have a tank with really, really good DPM. Something like a Centurion Action X, an E5, the M48 Patton. These are all tanks which are perfect to do these 1000 damage to enemy vehicles. Or you just go for blocking mission, aka E100, IS-7, Taschenratte, Maus, these all work. Personally, I did it in the IS-7. Next up, we have number 5, where you need to destroy 2 enemy heavy or medium tanks. Yep, now we're gonna get very boring, because this is a mission where, hey, just take a heavy tank you feel comfortable in to also yoink a kill. So something like an E5, or take a medium tank which you feel comfortable in, like a Centurion Action X, a Patton, etc. I personally did it in the T803. You can also kind of do it with a platoon mate, where he is preparing the kills for you. Numero 6. Cause 2500 HP of damage to enemy vehicles, or block 1500 damage while being stationary. I would go for the damage because the stationary thing, it really means you're not allowed to move, which is very annoying because when you want to block a damaging shot, you usually just wobble about to try and bait the enemy to shoot at you. So the be stationary is a little bit annoying. Doing 2500 damage on the other hand, let's be honest, that is a pretty easy task at higher tiers. So take the tier 10 tank of your choosing, you feel comfortable in, and get him, boy. I went for the T803 because I have to grind the upgrades. In number 7, you need to do 3000 HP of damage to enemy vehicles within your view range. This can work on lower tiers, but keep in mind the view range problem. That is why tier 10 tanks, which all have very good view range, are preferred. Super Conqueror, E5, Centurion Action X, T803, Canopinor, etc. These are wonderful for that mission. T803 once again being my choice. In number 8, you need to destroy either 2 enemy vehicles of two different types, or 3 enemy vehicles, excuse me, or do a ramming kill by not dying. That is nice, 7 mission or a KR1 mission. And other than that, just have something with a good DPM so it can yoink some kills. Once again, I personally did it in a T803 because of yoinking kills. In number 9, we have caused 2000 HP of damage to enemy vehicles that hit your vehicles. Perfect tank for that, Maus. Taschenratte, E100, Type 5 Heavy, perfect tanks to do that mission. I did it a little bit harder by using T803, but honestly, it worked out as well. You have a lot of HP to trade with, and doing 2000 damage with a really good reload of around 7 seconds, and with the ability full charge of 6 seconds is definitely doable. On number 10, you need to do 1250 damage in the first 3 minutes. Either you cheese it by, well, doing a ramming attack in the KR1 or the IS-7, that works definitely. I personally once again did it in a T803 because, I don't know, grinding upgrades, eh? And lastly, or next up, we have the Earn High Caliber award. Now this one is, I personally say, hey, take a mod which showcases to you how much hit points you actually need to do to get the High Caliber. It's a little bit harder on tier 11, let's be honest, because you need to do like 6000 damage on average, usually. So, because there's like 30,000 hit points in a game, divided by 5, 6,000 damage. You are not allowed to hit a friendly. You also need to do the most damage, so maybe somebody else had a better game than you. So, somebody in my stream, check it out, www.twitch.tv/RagingRaptor, I'm streaming in English now, pointed out, why not play something lower tier? For example, the King Tiger 2, or the King Tiger, the American premium tank, on tier 7, on EU5, because apparently EU5's mid-tier matchmaking is very, let's put it that way, underdeveloped, meaning there are not enough people there usually. So sometimes you have like a 10 versus 10 game, meaning there's even less hit points around. For me, it was still a 15v15 game, but I needed to do 3000 damage, which is totally doable, and yeah, I did that. 3000 damage, bada bam, bada boom. Done first try on EU5, which was a little bit iffy, but I guess it's like, I don't know, they were players, so it is what it is. Don't go on EU4. EU4 is the very unique server. Anyway, number 12. You have to do 3000 damage to enemy heavy tanks or medium tanks, or block 2500 damage of enemy heavy or medium tanks. So, this one, I feel, is a mission where you should go for the damage, and T803 is very good, Type 5 is very good, Maus is pretty decent about it because you have the secondary chance of blocking the damage. Taschenratte, IS-7, KR1, these all work very, well. Next up, number 13, and this one is, I heard in stream that a lot of players did not like to do that. Why? Well, yes, it's annoying because you have to do the damage in the Goldilocks zone. You need to do 1500 HP of damage to enemy vehicles from a distance of 100 meters or less, and 1000 damage to enemy vehicles from a distance of 200 meters. Now, obviously you can do that in like an IS-7, a KR1, where you unga bunga into the face of somebody. But let me in a secret. What about the Type 5 Heavy? It likes to go close. It has a 700 alpha gun, meaning you need to do, if you're lucky, 2 shots under 100 and you got the mission done. There are a lot of lightly armored vehicles like Leopard 1, Grille, Hirschkäfer running around. And you have Intuition, which has around 3.6 seconds switch time. And you have an HE with 1100 damage. And 130mm pen because it's Hesh. You see where I'm going? Get a little bit of lucky to get into the 100 meters and then find a likely armored vehicle and slam it with HE for 1100 damage. Easy mission. Type 4, Type 5 are the go-to. I did it in Type 5. In number 14, you need to do damage to enemy vehicles by shooting them from a distance of 50 meters or less 5 times. That means no ramming for you. Or you do 3500 damage to enemy vehicles. AKA, that is much easier because you don't need to face hug every single person you find. Technically, you could do something funny. I guess you can take like the IS-7 or something and Unga Bunga hold down somebody and then just shoot them with HE. But that feels very long because the IS-7's reload time is very long. So personally, just go for the 3500 damage. I did it in a T803. IS-7, 260, E5, BZ are all tanks which work wonderfully. And lastly, you have to cause, receive and block a total of 8000 HP of damage. Meaning, the more HP you have, the better. A mouse, which has field mods, has almost 3500 hit points, meaning if you die, you already have 3500 damage on that. Add to that some blocking, add to that some damage, and you are done. RagingRaptor works, IS-7 works, E100 works, so many vehicles work for that mission, as long as they have a lot of hit points. Type 5 heavy works. And with that, we got all the Vanguard missions done. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe to keep up to date for the next mission chain, which is going to be the Ambush one, aka Leopard 1 simulator. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you around.